the last couple of days, you did some skits that showed us some good safety tips to keep ourselves healthy. A lot of that involved that you guys wore safety equipment. I'm not going to pretend you guys do that on an everyday basis. Okay. All we can do here at school is give you some things to think about to keep yourselves healthy and to keep yourselves safe. All right. Some of our biggest fears is that you've not been given the right tools to keep yourself safe, and that we haven't done our job to give you those tools. What you do with those tools, we're not going to follow you around all your life, but what you do with those tools, we hope is the right thing. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, today's topic is fire safety and trying to come up with a plan in your home that fire escape plan. It's always been in our lessons. We've always done this lesson for you, with you, and helping you create an escape plan from your homes. Because in your homes, if there ever is a fire, in the heat of the moment, literally the heat of the moment, it would be very hard to, Isaiah, if you're not interested, you may go ahead and exit, but you're bothering those around you who want to be listening. Literally in the heat of the moment, it is very easy to panic and to not be able to think straight, okay? In any kind of situation. When it's an emergency, it's very often hard to think straight and do the right thing, any kind of emergency. So being prepared ahead of time allows you to have a plan in place. And if you have practiced your plan, then when the emergency arises, your brain can flip into what was my plan? Not, oh my gosh, what should I be doing now? And if you have a plan that you have practiced, hopefully your body will revert back to what was my plan? What should I do? Because I did practice that. I have something I should be doing. Okay. So just like we practice tornado drills here, we practice our fire drills getting out of the building, we practice our lockdown drills. We hopefully are prepared, so if any of those things happen, it's not a total panic. When we do the lockdown drills, the first year that we did that, I knew it was coming. We talked about it in teachers' meetings. We talked about what we needed to do. I was like, got it. We were told somebody might come knock on our door. Be sure you don't open it. I mean, I was like, yep, I know all this.
That one year that you
okay. Okay. All right.
No.
And as much as I was prepared for it, when somebody rattled my door, I still had the old stomach, like literally flopped move, because it was frightening, you know? Now, the more we have practiced it every year, I still get a little uptight over it because I run through my head, what happens if this is the real thing? What other things do I need to be thinking about? But the more I practice it, the more I feel like I am more prepared for it. Does that make sense? Okay. And the more things I think about, what should I do? It's not like the first time. And I think about, you know, how should I keep students safe? What if this? What if that? Okay. But if we would never practice for it, I wouldn't have any predetermined things that we might, should, could, would do. Okay. So in every emergency situation, we need to be thinking ahead and practicing ahead. So our fire escape plan is one of those things that you should be practicing at home. Does everyone know what you should be doing? Not just you, we practiced it in 5th grade. Yeah, I've got a plan. But discussing it with your parents, discussing with your other family members, having a family meeting. You know, do we all know what we're going to do in case of a fire? Okay. At our house, when our kids were growing up, our daughters had bedrooms on the 3rd floor. Okay. Well, it was like an attic that we converted into bedrooms. Okay. So for them to get out of there, if their bedroom stairs were blocked, we actually bought ladders that would hook onto the window. Okay. So that it would flop down, but we had to teach them how to do that. It wasn't just, oh, by the way, we provided this, it's under your bed. Okay, we had to show them what they would need to do with that. Okay. Now, did that ladder reach all the way to the ground?
No.
No, it didn't, because it was built for a 2-story, okay? But the way the house was built, if they'd gone out a certain window, they could have made it to the roof line of a porch. Okay, and let's say if that window was blocked, okay, they at least got part way down. That's better than dropping from 3 stories up. Does that make sense? Okay, and hopefully somebody could have been there to help them. All right. So in all cases, you want to have, you know, more than one plan of how you get out of your room. Okay. So when we look at our plans today, you also, when you get out of the house, where are you going to meet up? Okay? Because in theory, in reality, there are 4 sides to your house. What if you're at the front of the house and everyone else is at the back? Do your parents see you at the front of the house?
No.
No, and they may think you're still inside, and they may want to try to save you. Is it safe for them to go back in? Absolutely not. Okay, so you need a place where you're all going to meet up, and you all go there. It's best if you meet up at a place that is lighted and away from the house, because if you're coming out of the house and you're trying to figure out if everybody's out and it's dark out, you want to be able to see at a distance that everyone's there. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So having 2 ways to get out of a room, having a place to meet outside, okay, is really important. Should you ever go back in to rescue somebody?
No.
No. But when the fire department arrives, you should have an idea of where that person might be and be able to tell the fire department where they are. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. But again, you should never go back in a burning building. Okay? Does that make sense? You should never go back in.
Never.
Here's what can happen. The smoke that's coming out of a burning building, you can be overcome by that, and then you pass out, and then nobody knows where you are, and they can lose you in the fire. Okay? All right? Does that make sense? So you've created another issue of, now I've got 2 people to find. So instead of being able to rescue the one person that they have a chance of rescuing, they now have to try to find you as well. Okay. All right. What?
He's playing with the change.
Okay, Isaiah, move up here. Right here. Now. All right. So we always need 2 ways out. Here at school, we always exit out that way, get to the driveway, you know, out there in the parking, the blacktop area, whatever. We line up out there. What happens if the fire's at that end of the hall? Do we know what to do?
Yes.
What do? Aiden.
We wanna either maybe go out like a try to see if there's a window or a
Okay,
Or the front
we go out here like we're supposed to, we turn that way, we see there's a fire. What would you do immediately? What would you do?
Run the other way.
Run the other way,
Go the other way.
turn and go that way, right? And then what would you do?
Go out that door.
Go out that door, that's the closest, right? Okay, all right. Now, I'm always the last one out, right? Okay. In theory, you would holler back, Mrs. Allen, that way is blocked, and then hopefully I can be shouting
Other way.
another place that we're meeting up. Are we gonna walk around there
No.
towards the fire, meet up at our normal place?
No.
No. Are we gonna stay together though?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It's so important though that you stay quiet. Once you have alerted me that that's blocked, then be quiet because I will have to give you other instructions. You don't need me though to say, oh, don't walk into the fire, turn and go the other way. But you stay together, you follow whoever is leading. Does that make sense? You don't scatter as a group, you stay together because I'm responsible for all of you. Okay?
Has there ever been a real fire?
In all my years of teaching, I've not been at school when there's been a school fire, no.
One school. Has there ever been like a real lockdown?
There have been like, what would we call it?
We had one last year, but it wasn't like.
Let me see, what would we call? A lockout, where we lock all our doors at business as usual. But I've not been involved in a lockdown, like where there was an intruder and we were hiding from intruders. There's been a lockdown when there were suspicious people near the building and they needed to check it out. So we were to close everything down, lock the doors. Is more, a lockout is more of, and I don't mean this lightly, but more of a precautionary than a lockdown. A lockdown is more of intrusion, we're more in danger. A lockout is more, we're on high alert. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, there's, for the best way to describe the differences, okay? Because if we're business as usual, although the teachers would be on high alert, okay? I'm not sure how I'm business as usual and I'm on high alert, you know?
Yeah, I think it's.
But we're to try to keep teaching classes, but be aware that be at our computers, have them close. Like I would start gathering up like my phone and my walkie-talkie, you know, like, because if we go to and that would be my choice, because if we go to a lockdown, I need to be ready. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like we would close the blinds. We have all those rules we have to follow. But we could keep teaching. We wouldn't have to go into lock down and hide. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Lockdown is we got to hide, get out of sight, be ready.
But what if they hear
Okay.
you?
Huh?
If you kept saying, what if they hear you?
Well, but a lockout is somebody's on our premises. We're just not sure what they're doing more. Does that make sense? Okay. Like it might even be so much as, you know, they're out on the road. It's more, again, I say it's more precautionary than we really think they're a total threat to us. We're just not sure, maybe. Okay, that's kind of the difference. But again, I can't determine what every situation might be, but that's more what it is. Whereas a lockdown is, we definitely think we're under a threat. Get ready. Okay? And that we really need to get you hidden. Okay? I've got, 4 to 5 weeks, and that never happens in my career, and that's what I'm hoping for. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay? I mean,
Hopefully.
yeah, I mean, I hope it never happens in your lifetime, but, so that's how we practice things though. So they become something that in a crisis, your brain can go, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to do. And that's why it's important that when we make these plans, that you practice them at home. And that you and your parents and your brothers and sisters, your aunts, your uncles, whoever lives with you, that you all are on board. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to take a look at what all we're going to need to do for this. Okay. Each of you needs this paper, and we're going to be adding the fact that your parents have to sign off on this. Okay? Because if your parents don't agree that this is okay, then it's really not a plan that'll work. Does that make sense? Do you understand that? So it requires a parent signature, and that's not written on here. That is the final piece, though. It requires a parent signature. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. So each of you needs one of these, and then we're going to go over it. And I'll show you how to go about this. I'm not just saying, oh, just dream this up. Okay? Is there anybody that doesn't have one? All right, first thing, you're going to draw a floor plan of your home using grid paper, which I will provide, and you're to show all possible emergency exits. Okay? So in other words, you need to have like doors and windows in your plan. You can't just draw, these are the outside of my house. Okay? Doors and windows will have to be in your plan. Does that make sense? Okay? Show 2 ways out of every room if possible. Okay? The door will be the main exit from each room. However, if the door is blocked by smoke or fire, you need to identify an alternative route. So in here, if the fire is in the hallway, our only alternative route is out these windows. Okay? Now, these windows
Are very small.
are real small. Can you pull your desk back, please? All right.
How do you
That's
get to that?
Okay,
All
right. okay.
You can set one.
Now listen, I'm pretty resourceful. We'll be pulling chairs and desks up, and I'll be showing as many people out. I'm not just gonna use one window. I'm gonna throw stuff off of all the windowsills. I don't care about my pretty plants if there's a fire. I don't care about any of my school supplies. I'll pull the magnet. I don't care about any of my school supplies, my family pictures. I don't care diddly squat about that stuff if there's a fire. And I'm shoving as many people out these windows as I can. You're not running and screaming over here. We're doing it in an orderly fashion. Do you understand that? Okay? I'm the last one out. Okay? I'm the last one out. When I look at the size of my hind end, I'm not even sure I can get out. I'm hoping I can get out. Okay? Okay? My other option is to break the windows, all right? Now, in trying to break these windows, I look at the size of these windows also. I'm not thinking,
What would you make it with?
oh,
A Chromebook.
I'm looking at, I've got a Chromebook. I'm looking at, I've got chairs. I'm looking at the bottom of the desk. is pretty solid, okay? But I'm looking at, this is not a real big size either, and I'm looking at the size of my rear end, and I'm thinking, wow, that's gonna be a tight squeeze also, okay? So when I open this up and I pull it as hard as I can, I'm thinking I have a real better choice of trying to get out of there than even this, right? Okay? Those up there aren't any bigger than this, right? Okay? No, there is no, that's it. No, the top one doesn't, no, that's it, folks. Okay? There's metal there and there. I don't have screwdrivers. I mean, I would allow anybody, you know, who thinks they're stronger than me to try to rip these off. Okay? But then what I'm hoping is, by the time I've shoved most of you, if not all of you that can fit out, I'm hoping the fire department has arrived and that somebody with more equipment will come around and will be able to cut this off, and we have a big space to get out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay? But I'm telling you right now, I'm shoving the ones out that I know for sure are going to get out this window first. I wouldn't put somebody like me trying to get out the window first and getting stuck and leaving everybody in here that could have gotten out. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Yeah. You have to think about those things, folks. And we open up all windows and we shove out as many people as we can in hopes that the fire department is going to get here and help out and get me a bigger space to get out. Do we understand that?
Yes.
And I would be telling you to get over that fence and get to the other side of that field and wait for me. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But to stay together when you get over that fence. Does that make sense? Are you hearing what I'm saying though?
Yes.
Okay. I can't have you in here boo-hooing, creeping around and, you know, carrying on. Okay?
What was that?
All right. I can't have you opening that door to see where the fire is. No. Okay. I might have some of you taking off your sweatshirts, running them under the water, and shoving it at the base of the door to try to stop the smoke while I'm shoving people out windows. Because I have a plan in mind, folks. But when I say something, I mean do it and do it now. But when I look at the size of Zane, I'm going to say, Zane, get out the window. And Zane shouldn't say, why me? Zane better get off his hind end and get out the window. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? No, it wouldn't be a conversation. It would be moved. I would tell everybody on that side of the room, get over here. I would tell everybody to keep low. I would look at him and I would say, get your sweatshirt off. Get your sweatshirt off. Hand it to so-and-so and start watering it down. You understand what I'm saying? I would be looking for things that would help us. I might just say, hand your sweatshirt to me. I might be the one doing that. I have to determine where I need to be to save the most people and who I can think of in here who might be able to handle whatever other things I need done. I don't need anyone else telling me or anyone else what to do. I might make him in charge of shoving people out this window because I can see that he could help me get people up and over, right? Does that make sense? But I would determine that, not somebody else thinking they had a better idea. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay? But I might say, Santiago, I need your sweatshirt, give it to me now. I might say, Adriana, start running the water and then get over here. Because she's closest to the water. And all I might do is throw his sweatshirt in there so it starts getting wet. I don't need to stand there and watch it get wet. I might say, everybody over there, get over here towards the window. Do I want pushing and shoving?
No.
No, I don't. I might say 5 of you get at each window. I might say smallest ones first. Okay, I don't need you standing there going, are you, how much do you want? No, just quick. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay? Does that make sense? All right? But I have a plan in mind. And I will say, get over that fence, get to the other side of that field, and wait for me there. Stay together as a class over there. I might hand my emergency book to the second person in line standing right here and say, keep that with you and get across there. Don't let go of that book.
But what if there's a Nigeria in it? Could you get some of it?
What?
Like, if someone's saying, if an intruder set the fire on the school building and got out.
I am saying if there's a fire, this is what I'm going to, I have a plan. Okay? Now, if I see something else happening in the middle of it, I may have to shout out other things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That is why, no matter what is happening, you have to be quiet and you have to be listening. But I have a plan. Do you understand that? I always have to have a plan. Do I have that thing over there totally memorized? No, but I have it in a place I can definitely look at it because I get locked out and locked down, twisted around in my brain. When they say it, I go and I look at it and make sure I am following all the directions so that I'm not putting you in danger. But I know, lock anything, you pull these blinds and I say, get the blinds pulled, so and so, get the blinds pulled. And I expect somebody over here to get those blinds pulled. Do we understand that? So your fire escape plan should be that at your house, you know what you're going to do. Okay? It shouldn't be an argument. It shouldn't be sit there and argue with your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, whoever. It should be, what do you think we should do? It should be an automatic. Okay? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to show those 2 ways out of every room. You're going to choose a meeting place outside. It has to be a place away from the home that everyone will remember. In case of a fire, everyone will go directly to this place so they can be accounted for. It is so important that everyone's accounted for. Everyone. And I hate to say this to you guys that are all attached to your animals. We don't care about that cat or dog or goldfish or gerbil. It is human lives that are important at this time. If your dog or cat is right beside you and you can easily grab it and go, grab it and go. If it is somewhere else in the house, do not go looking for it. Do not. It is, but guess what? Your life is more important than that animal. And there's been more than one mistake that people have made of thinking they'll just go back and find that pet. And guess what? They aren't here to talk about it.
Girl, don't say that.
This is important stuff, folks. I cannot stress it enough. We all love our pets, and I get that. If your pet is not right there with you, or your pet is not easy to just grab and go, forget the pet and get yourself out. Now, the last thing on here, does anyone need help to escape? Anyone, not any pet. Person, human being. For instance, is there an elderly person in your home that could not easily escape on their own that you would need to help? Is there a sibling that's an infant that you would need to like go grab out of a crib that is near you? Not, you're going to go search the house over. Do we understand the difference? Okay. I'm not telling you you're going to go find them. That would be something you might have to report to the fire department. Do you understand that? Okay. Yes.
What if the brother that's far away and he's 15 and still is in a crib and he can't even walk or do it? What would you do?
You would have to notify the police or the fire department when they get there.
And his lungs ain't like ours. Ours is strong, his ain't.
I don't know what you're saying.
If it's in smoke, he can't do good.
You're not going into smoke or fire to save somebody. You personally are not. If they're in the same room as you, you help get them out of there as much as you can. If they're not, you can't. You tell the fire department, the police department, whoever gets there first. It is up to them to make that determination. Okay? If there was someone across the hall that I knew would have trouble getting out and the fire is out here in the hall, I cannot go get them. The minute I open the door, the fire comes in here and puts all of you in jeopardy. Do we understand that?
Yes.
I can't do that. Okay? What?
Do you know the pets know what to do when there's a fire and stuff? They don't really need help unless they're like injured and stuff.
All right, so do we understand what the requirements are?
No, they don't.
At the top of your paper, put parent signature in a line.
At the top.
At the top, parent signature in a line. Couple things to discuss with your parents. Do you have smoke detectors in your house that are working? If not, that is something that you should urge your parents to get. Fire extinguishers, are those available and working in your home?
No.
Okay.
They're my house.
All right. Now, when we talk about having 2 escape routes, one thing that's not in this picture is where any windows are, because a window is definitely something that could be used as an escape route. So let's say that there's a window in this bedroom. You can indicate a window just like that. Does that make sense? Okay, so windows can be indicated like that. All right. So there's a window. Here's the big window. All right. Okay. So when we take a look at this, they do not show escape routes from every room, much less 2 from every room. Okay. You're going to have a main escape route and you're going to have a secondary escape route. I want you to use 2 or different colors for different rooms, because otherwise you're going to start getting confused on what your escape routes are. For instance, from this study, your first escape route would be to go out in the hall and out here. Okay? Your second escape route would be to go out one of these windows. All right? Does that make sense? Okay. For this bedroom, your first route would be to go out this way. Your second one would be to go out that window. But you see changing colors? I can see it came from two different rooms. Okay? So you would continue that with each of the rooms. Every room needs to have 2 escape routes. We do not need to have an escape route from this walk-in closet. Okay? Assumingly you're not living in a closet. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Okay? All right. Now, in this bedroom, one way would be out here. The other, though, would be to go through the closet and out that window. Okay? If there hadn't been a window in that closet, there's only one way to get out of that bedroom. And that was out the door. Okay? Yes. Yes, that was already stated. Okay? Now, if you have a 2-story house, if you have a basement, the problem with a basement is if it's not a walk-out basement or if it does not have windows that you can get out of, there's typically only one way, and that's up the stairs. Any newer homes, you have to have what are called egress windows. They're low enough that you can get out on this, like a dugout section where you can easily get out the window and up. Most basements have at least a window that's about this high that you could crawl out. Okay, but some of the older homes don't even have that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no way to get out of your basement?
Besides the stairs.
You gotta run through fire.
All right. Yeah.
So,
Quiet.
we have like, we have 3 ways to get out of the basement. First, like the stairs, and from the outside, like you can like pull it out like that.
Right, so that would be another way out. So that's an exit. Okay, so you need to have a plan for all floors in your house. We're not just gonna say, oh, let's just do the first floor, because that's not real for your house. Do we understand that? Oh, the fire's only gonna be on the first floor. No. Now, if you have an attic space that is not living space, does that make sense? You just store stuff up there. You do not have to include that. If you have a basement that is just storage, it just has the water heater, the softener, whatever, the furnace in it, you don't live down there, you do not have to include that. But if it has a family room in it or something like that, you have to include that because you could be down there living. Does that make sense? Do we understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, so any floor that you would be living on, you have to include. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, before I give you graph paper, I'm going to want you to take just any kind of paper, lined paper, just plain paper, and sketch out your house. Keep in mind, it needs to be somewhat to scale. Typically, your bathroom is not bigger than your bedroom. Okay, typically. All right. And then you're going to show that to me, and I'll talk to you about a couple things to make sure that we understand what's really going on there. Then I'll give you your graph paper. All right. Bruce, do you live in your house? Wait a minute. Do you live in your house?
Yeah, but
Okay. If you live in your house, then you know if there is a living room. Do you know where your front door is in the living room?
Yeah.
On this side.
Door. Are there any windows in your living room?
You're going to.
Window, window. Is there a kitchen off of your living room?
Past the 2 chairs that I have.
Which direction? Kitchen. Is there a door leading into the kitchen?
There's no door leading into the kitchen.
So it's open.
Yeah.
There we go, kitchen. You need to label what the rooms are, folks. Is there a door from your kitchen to the outside? Door. Are there windows?
On the doors and on the above the sink.
Do you understand what you can do? I don't even live in your house. I'm starting to draw it by your description. Anybody else? Yes.
Are we drawing it or just drawing it? Tracing.
Right now, listen, right now you're doing a rough sketch of it on that paper. I'll take a look at it before I give you graph paper. And on graph paper, you should be able to be more precise with it. That make sense? But until you put it on, give me a rough sketch of it, I don't want to give you the good graph paper. Yes, sir.
How would you like draw a square? Like, so
How do you draw